Hello, I am Bogdan, the owner of DNN Sharp. This video today is targeted for developers. I will show you how to build a custom rule with C# code and wire it in URL adapter in order to intercept URLs and rewrite them to something else or add query string parameters to it. And the practical example that we'll follow today is we have URLs with affiliate codes, and the affiliate code can look like this. And we need to map this to some affiliate IDs that we have in the database. So basically we want this URL rewritten to something like home.aspx and affiliate ID equals something. But this will be the rewritten URL that's only visible on the server side. On the client side, in the browser, the URL will stay like affiliate code. So it will be a friendly URL. And we can easily do this in URL adapter, and you don't need the source code. You only need to create your own implementation of a rule, and I will show you what that means in a bit, and then wire it from the configuration file. And you can find the configuration in website root, desktop modules, DNN Sharp, URL adapter, config, rules. And here you'll find a configuration file. If you open it with Notepad or another text editor, you'll see that it's a JSON file. For your information, we also support XML. You just remove the JSON from the file name and it will be loaded as an XML file. And let's look a bit at the structure of this configuration file. So you notice there are multiple definitions, and these are the rules. And each rule has an ID and has a priority. And then finally it has a type. And this is a standard string that you would build a type from in .NET. So it's the namespace followed by the class name and followed by the assembly name. So everything is just standard. The priority defines the order in which rules are getting evaluated. The lower the priority, the earlier it gets evaluated. So if you look at this configuration file, the rules are basically evaluated in the order that you see. Now, one other important thing that I want to tell you about this configuration file. You will never modify this default.json.config file directly, because it will get overwritten on upgrades. This file comes with the zip package that you download from our site, so it will get overwritten, so you lose all your changes. Instead, you'll create your own configuration file. Let's say affiliate.json.config and modify that instead. Since it's a file you've created, it will not be affected by upgrades. So now that I've created my own file, I will delete all the nodes and leave only one. And this one, I will call it check handle affiliate code. Or affiliate URL, it's a better name. And then the most important thing right now is to determine the priority, because you don't want this rule evaluate too early before, for example, before the SSL is enforced. And for example, this SSL means the HTTPS from the URL. So if a user comes from HTTP, but your website requires HTTPS, this rule here will take care of doing that. So you don't want to put a rule before that, and you don't want to put a rule before many of these rules. And I think the best place would be after checking the advanced rules. So you want everything up here, from here and above, to be evaluated before our custom rule. And you also see this can cache flag here. I didn't tell you about this yet, so I'll tell you now. It basically informs URL adapter that these URLs can be cached. So URL will serve the cache from will serve the URL from its own cache, and not call our code the second time the URL the user visits the website on the given URL. So I think as a priority we should be between these two, between this one that doesn't have caching and this one that starts having caching. Why? Because I think that our rule should not have cache, because if we add a new affiliate, we don't want URL adapter to not know that affiliate or to serve an old URL for updated affiliates. So we will handle our own caching internally. So we want to disable caching, but we don't want to our rule to be evaluated before any of this. Yeah, because like this look like they do some important stuff. So the best idea would be to give it 1950. So let's get back to our configuration file and give it a 1950 ID. And then the type. We don't have a class created yet, so let's start with that. So I'll open Visual Studio. I'll open it as an administrator because maybe you also need to do some debugging. And I will start with a new project. And we will create a class library. We don't need any UI here, it's just a class. And we'll call this class handle affiliate. And let's place the project. I've already created a demo folder here. It's empty, but I will just place it there. You can place it anywhere you want. The important thing here is that the DLL that it gets compiled by this project should go into the website bin folder. And that we should implement a particular interface. And this interface, I will show it to you in URL adapter. So let's look, for example, at the enforce extensions rule. This rule basically looks, if you select in the administration console that you want ASPX extensions, it will append it, otherwise it will remove it. That's what this rule does. And you see that it implements this interface. I rewrite rule, so we will grab this interface here. And now you'll notice that we cannot use it yet because we haven't added a reference to our project. So the first thing that we need to do is actually go into the website bin folder and adding a reference to DNS sharp co_url adapter.core.dll. So this would be the file. And we will also need a reference to DNS sharp.common. So these are two assemblies that you will always find in your website bin folder. They are deployed by our modules. And now I should be able to resolve this reference. And also implement this interface. And you will see we have two members here. First, we have a property that is definition, and this will give us an object that is mapped over the configuration file that I showed you earlier. Let me get rid of some of these extra namespaces to make the code cleaner. So what we have so far is an interface that does nothing. Next thing that I will do, I will have this project go and compile into the website bin folder. So I don't want it to compile it into the project folder. I will go up many folder, I think 6 of them. Let's see. I'll build this and see if it goes to the right location. Let's see, handle. No, it's not here. I see it's yeah, so I went one folder too high, so it's only 5 folders. Yeah, so we have it here. So I just made the project to compile in the website bin folder, so I don't have to copy the DLL manually each time I make a change. And now we have to hook this namespace and the assembly name to the configuration file. So like I told you, first is the namespace name, and then the class name, followed by the assembly name. In my case, I've named all of them the same, but you should find all of these by going into the properties and into the application. And you see the assembly name at the top, and it's also the assembly of the name of the DLL file, is the same thing. And then the default namespace, you can find it here, namespace, handle affiliate, and the name of the class. I've made all the same, but normally they would not be the same. They would refer to your project and your class hierarchy. So now let's check that this works. And to check this, I will just make sure to always append a parameter to the query string. So I will just say affiliate ID, so I'll put it in the query string equals 1, 2, 3. Let's compile and check that this works. And now you see we have an error, and it's probably because this query is null. So I think we should check if it's null and just reinitialize it. Yeah, it's a name value collection, nothing special here. So now the page loaded, and I will show you how I will check that the affiliate ID actually exists in the URL, because right now you will not see it since this is the home.aspx file. So in order to see the affiliate ID, I will use my tokens and display a token in the HTML modules. And the token is query string :affiliate ID. And this what this does is it prints the affiliate ID here that I have in the rewritten URL, which is not visible in the browser address bar. Good. So right now I just hard-coded an affiliate ID. Of course, I would just want to write an URL that doesn't exist, which will actually give me another null reference here because I don't have a target here. I don't have a target because this target tells where the URL is being rewritten or redirected. Since this is a new URL that doesn't exist, it's not a DNN page, it will be null. And another rule down the stack would probably redirect to the 404 page. But because my role is in the middle, I should handle the null case. And actually, my rule should just do nothing if there's already a target. Why? Because if there is already a URL or something mapped at that location, I don't want to overwrite it. So if I have my domain /home, I don't want an affiliate to have the home code and get there instead of my actually homepage. So in order to avoid this conflict, I'll always make sure that my code doesn't run if another URL, if another resource is mapped to the current URL. Good. Next thing, I have created a table that is called affiliate that has an ID, a name, and a code. This code will be in the URL And then I want to grab this ID. So basically what I will do is I will create a SQL query that returns this. So far I've created a method that just returns everything from the database and stores in the dictionary, because I don't want to make a request for to the affiliate table for each HTTP request. I don't want to make a SQL query, so I would cache this in a dictionary. But for this I need to also add some references. I need a reference to system web for the HTTP runtime to work. And here probably a much better choice would be to use the DNN cache API instead of the HTTP runtime. And here I'm using SQL helper, which is a assembly that comes with a DNN. And it's something with Microsoft application blocks. Yes. And finally, I would need some. I would need a reference to .NET so I can get the connection string using DNN API. So we add a reference to .NET.dll, this one. Okay, and I should make this not copy locally, since they might copy other assemblies as well, and sometimes they conflict. They make conflicts. Okay, so it doesn't find the reference to .NET. Most likely I'm using a different, yes, I'm using an older runtime. So I'll switch to .NET 4, which DNN currently uses. And recompile, and now it compiled fine. So far, let me show you what I have. I just created a method that puts a lock and gets the dictionary from the HTTP runtime, and if it doesn't exist, it makes a query to get all affiliates from the affiliate table and store them into this dictionary. And now I will use this dictionary. I will use it here, and I will check if the cache contains the path without any extension and without any slashes. So I'll just get this this text here, and if it exists, if it doesn't exist in cache, I will just return the existing rewrite, because if it doesn't exist, then it means I don't have an affiliate code. But if it exists, I will proceed with creating a new target. Remember that the target so far is null, so only now I'm initializing it. And this indexed URL has a bunch of attributes and methods inside it. What we need to work with right now is just the tab ID. This is the page that gets loaded. Remember that so far we have a URL that doesn't exist anywhere. So we need to map it to a page, and we can use the home page for this. And we can get it from the portal context, home tab ID. And we will need what type of operation are we doing. Are we doing a rewrite or a redirect or some other options here? We just want a rewrite here. Yes. And finally, we will add the affiliate ID into the query string, and we will get it from the cache. We already checked that's in there, so just use it like this. So I'll compile this, and let's go back to the website. So I'm getting a 404 because this URL doesn't exist in my database. So let's go and grab a real code. So I'll grab the super code. And now you see my homepage loaded, and I have one as the affiliate ID here. If I were to put the other affiliate code, which is live, now it should grab the other affiliate and put its ID too. So now, actually, behind this URL, I have a affiliate ID in the query string that you can code and use in your other business logic components. So that's about it. But before I end this tutorial, I want to make things a bit more interesting and have this SQL come from the configuration file. And this way you could use this assembly with many affiliate schemes. Just change the configuration file. So to do this, we'll go back to the configuration file and we will create a settings node, which is a dictionary, and here we can create our own keys. Let's say SQL, and here we'll put the SQL. Now all the settings will come to us through this definition. So we can access in this definition. It's already populated for us. We can grab it from there. So let's just take this query, put it here. And what I would do now is maybe I would also code some special tokens for database owner and for object qualifier. So this will work for every installation out there. Yes, so now I will get the SQL like this, string format, and now I get it from the definition, dot settings, SQL, and this will give me the string, so far the SQL, and then I will pass it the get database owner and config.get object qualifier. And let's convert this to string. Okay, looks good. So let's see if this actually works. So we get the same results. And if I were to go on the other affiliate, I would get ID equals 1. And if I had a different table, I would just rename this. And at the same time, I would clear recycle the application domain to make sure the cache is cleared. Now I get an error because the affiliate table no longer exists, but from the configuration file, I can remap this to any table I want. So now it worked. So now it's possible to just change the SQL from the configuration file without having to recompile the assembly, which is very, very powerful, because you can create one assembly and many configuration files that you deploy on various installs based on client requirements. And this concludes this training video. I hope you find it very helpful and that it shows you the flexibility and the extensive and how extensive URL adapter, and not only URL adapter but all our modules are through the configuration files and custom .NET assemblies. Thank you for your time.